So I thought I'd have this little conversation today, and it's about our Corporate Transparency Act, which is essentially attached or a correlation with our BOI reporting. Now, our federal government went through this process of setting up this website, asking business owners and businesses to do this reporting, and it basically was going to penalize businesses of a significant amount of money, roughly about 10 grand, for not or up to 10 grand, and some time, for violating, not reporting, your business and your earnings, essentially, or your businesses and who were benefiting from these businesses, right? So this was the whole thing, kind of at the time, and I'm not pointing, blame anywhere particularly, but when the Biden administration was on its way out, and we were still pending on, the Harris/Trump administration going into office. I don't know if you all remember this, but just give a little background. And so then the BOI report, it had a particular date that it was supposed to get done, and then it was like it halted, it got stopped, and then the legislation went in, and the attorneys went in, and it was like, whoa, let's pump the brakes. And so they pumped the brakes, and then it was like, okay, we're gonna change the rules a little bit, we're gonna adjust them. How about we just target the companies that have under $5 million of annual revenue? And, as small businesses, or some of us are small, some of us might be large, you feel some type of way. It's like, okay, we went from having everyone to do this to it being in this category of 5,000, 500, 5 million in annual revenue or less. So I was like, well, that's a little interesting. That's kind of, foul, but whatever. And so what it does essentially is the individuals or businesses that make over 5 million in annual revenue don't have to do this reporting. Well, if you kind of fast forward to today and fast forward to now, we have these large businesses, these large institutions. I'm not going to put any particular names. These large governments or whatever. That if, say, for example, you live in the United States currently, your home base is the United States, but you do business abroad, Ghana, Europe, the Middle East, Russia, wherever that might be. You're able to do business abroad in another country or whatever, and your business make over $5 million in annual revenue, but you don't have to disclose anything about yourself. Anything about you being part of that business, anything about you benefiting from that business, or any of the above. That's a bit strange. That's a bit crazy. That's a bit wild. But guess what? I'm not done. Even with that, the Corporate Transparency Act has been pumping the brakes and pumping the brakes and pumping the brakes, and we've been waiting in limbo, waiting as business owners that are just starting up new businesses, because that doesn't stop. We still have individuals going to their Secretary of State. We still have individuals going to the IRS applying for, their EIN or whatever the case may be. That doesn't stop. But we don't know whether or not we need to do the BOI report, do we? We still don't know. My whole point is this. Think about this on a large scale. What's going on? We have the audits going on. Our federal government has essentially ceased and stopped the funds going to foreign countries or different federal departments and stuff like that, U.S. aid, whatever the case may be. That's all been halted. It's all been stopped. It's just something to think about. I wanted to come up with that because, again, I've been wanting to see what happens with the Corporate Transparency Act and the BOI reporting. But again, Terrence Brunson, go ahead first. Where we go from here, I don't know, but I'm very interested and I'm very curious on where we go with the BOI report, the Corporate Transparency Act. They pushed the date out a little bit. I'll be following back up with you all on that. But it's just something to think about. Terrence Brunson, to go ahead first. The BOI reporting and the Corporate Transparency Act. Let's see what the current administration decides to do with this.